What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's yours truly, Fitz. How you guys doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day. So let's cover the PvP and also PvE move changes in Pokemon Go that Niantic just announced about 3 days ago. And I'm going to do an in-depth analysis on what Psychic does to the game overall, and then some of these PvP move changes. And it'll be strictly going into an overall PvP, and also I will talk about the Sinister Cup changes as well. So let's just kind of backtrack and go over each one of these moves. Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam will now have a reliable attack debuff, which decreases an opponent's Pokemon attack stat by 1 stage. We're excited to see how this kicks off. So let's look at Bubble Beam. These are the current Pokemon that can learn Bubble Beam, and these will make them better in PvP. So Crawdont's actually not bad. This would be good for the Ultra League since Crawdont maxes out at a little under 2,500. We'll get back to Golduck in a second. This makes Suicune actually very viable in the Ultra League. You could use it in the Great League, but it makes it very viable in the Ultra League. Doing an attack debuff in a bad situation definitely helps out Suicune, and it has Snarl, which we're going to go over here pretty soon. That's fantastic. So Suicune actually got a lot more viability in PvP, and honestly in all leagues, so that's fantastic. Jellicent is going to be a very good PvP Pokemon. We'll cover it when it comes out in more detail. Mantine just got a whole lot better in the Great League with more usability, and that's about it for the PvP analysis of Bubble Beam. So an attack debuff of 1 stage, that's absolutely fantastic, making some of these Pokemon that are on the list that can learn it a lot better than they were before. Now, going back to Power Up Punch. So Power Up Punch got weakened, but it still does a 10% buff in attack. And this is where things get interesting and where we're going to talk into the Sinister Cup. So the Sinister Cup allows Steel, Ghost, Psychic, and Fighting. Right? So Lucario can learn Power Up Punch. That's fine, we already knew that. So can Hitmonchan. Okay, that's fine. But now Mawile can learn Power Up Punch. And here's why this is a huge deal. Mawile's already a Fairy type, so it can go up against a Fighting type matchup and be okay. But the interesting thing is with Mawile is it has access to Bite. Bite does the highest damage, especially for the Sinister Cup going up against potential Ghost types, but Bite does the highest damage in PvP, one of the highest damage moves in PvP. And you couple that up with Power Up Punch, you get a 10% boost every single time, whether your opponent shields it or not, to one of the most powerful fast moves in PvP, Bite. That is why Mawile has changed the meta. Do you need a Mawile on your team to win this Sinister Cup? Do you need a Mawile on your team to win a Sinister Cup? No, but you should really take this in consideration. One downfall, and the only downfall, about Bite is it takes a lot of energy to power up your moves. Yeah, you'll probably get Power Up Punch still fairly quickly, but your main designation for this Pokemon is to deal mass damage with Bite and Bite alone. Because you're going to take a while to get a Play Rough or an Iron Head with Bite, because the energy is just not there. The energy gain is poor. But this still is absolutely incredible. And it knows Fire Fang now too. Like, this is ridiculous. And Charm, like, man, like, Mawile looks good for an open league PvP, but it is still viable in the Sinister Cup, so I wanted to go over it. Psychic. Okay, so Psychic now will deal more damage in gyms, raids, and trainer battles, and it's a 2-bar attack, dealing 90 damage. So let's look over the PvE purposes of Psychic, and then also talk about the Sinister Cup. So first off, right off the bat, Mewtwo with Confusion and Psystrike is still its best move. It still comes out at 2076 DPS with a 927 TDO. Overall, Mewtwo reigns supreme and is king of Psychic types. Now here are the Pokemon that got their, overall usability reworked because of Psychic. Latios with Zen Headbutt and Psychic comes in at 1546 DPS. That's respectable. Obviously a lot better than it was before, with a 712.95 TDO. Okay. Metagross actually can be used as a Psychic type, coming in at 1523 DPS. But here's the issue. Well, not the issue, here's the thing. You're like, Fitz City, that's worse than Latios. Yeah, but it also has 751.8 TDO. So it's going to, arguably, it's going to do more damage. Because we can all agree that Latios can be used in certain situations as opposed to Metagross, you know? They can both be used viably in certain situations. But do you actually want to use these two Pokemon if you don't have a good Mewtwo? Let's keep looking. So, I have a comparison between Confusion, Psychic, and Future Sight Espeon. This is just the difference that Future Sight has to Psychic. 1437, 1460. TDO, 480, 488. This was just a really good comparison, I thought, to see how much better Espeon got. And Espeon's a very easily accessible Pokemon, so that's why I wanted to go over it. Next up is Alakazam. Now, this one is not easily obtainable. Psychic is a legacy move on Alakazam, so if you can trade for one, a lucky trade, more to be more precise, that would be a lot better because you want a good Alakazam. So with Psycho Cut and Future Sight, its DPS is 16.74, but if you throw Psychic on it, 18.11. That is the second highest DPS out of all Psychic types in the game currently. That's insane. The TDO is god-awful though because, well, it's Alakazam. It's a Marshmallow. But, nonetheless, that's fantastic. I'm really excited for the Metagross and Latios. They actually have usability. Next up is Celebi. Now, Celebi's stats here are going to be the same as Jirachi's, and of course they weigh, you know, differently because of Jirachi has a steel typing, Celebi has a grass typing, so they both have different viabilities depending on what you're going up against, but this is still fantastic and goes to show that these Pokemon have usability. Now, first, before you ask, Fitz City, what about Mew? Mew cannot learn a Psychic quick move in the game. Don't believe me? Go look it up. It can learn Psychic as a charge move, but it doesn't have a Psychic type fast move. I know, it's upsetting, I know, but Celebi and Jirachi have more use. So 1403, 751 TDO. So let's compare that. It's better than Alakazam, it's better than Espeon, and it's on par with Metagross, and it's better than Latios. So if you're in a lobby with a bunch of people, you would be safer to go with Celebi, so you're not spending a whole bunch of revives or potions, because it's got a better TDO. And now, I do say that with a grain of salt, because if you're trying to be as quick as possible and don't have as many people, you want to go with DPS. But, if you have a healthy amount of people doing a raid and you're going to take it down no matter what, this is where that would come in. And then finally, Gardevoir, Confusion, Psychic, 1587, 607. So 1587 is not too bad. That's better than Espeon. That's the DPS is better than Metagross. That's because of the Confusion. But the TDO, not so much. Now, where things come in for let's see, we want to go Ghost here. For the Sinister Cup, there's one Pokemon that comes into play here, and that is, I guess it's up here. Where is it? Dusknoir. Now, Dusknoir does no Psychic. A 2-bar charge move, right? Well, it's got reworked for PvP. And no Psychic. So this is actually fantastic. The fact that Psychic got reworked is awesome. So you could run Hex with Psychic and Omniswin, with Psychic now not needing as much energy as it did before. So this is fantastic. I just wanted to throw that in there because Dusknoir can now be more usable in the Sinister Cup than it was before. But I still highly recommend Dusclops nonetheless. Now, let's go ahead and go down to Snarl. Snarl has a clear energy generation role among dark fast attacks. So Pokemon, they do mention Pokemon like Suicune, like I said, put that in with Bubble Beam, holy cow. And then Umbreon, holy cow. Umbreon just got a whole lot better. So this is fantastic for those Pokemon. Going further, Thunderfang and Icefang for these Pokemon. Arcanine, kind of weird, but can be used appropriately in the Ultra League. Steelix, we're about to go over that. Maeda gives Maeda more viability in the Great League. Hippowdon, that's kind of weird. It gives it coverage against water types, but that's it. Icefang, Suicune, that's awesome. Mightyena, okay. Mawile, actually, I think that Fire Fang meant to be Ice Fang, by the way, earlier. Hippowdon, okay, that covers the grass types, and Drapion, that's pretty cool too. But the damage has also been increased to match that of Ice Fang and Thunder Fang, so that's fantastic for PvE purposes. Now, Steelix, and specifically, this is for the Sinister Cup, and I thank King to this. He pointed this out. With no shields, if you pin a Bubble Poliwrath against a Steelix, you will win. Now, if there's shields involved, you will not win. But as you can see, if your opponent doesn't have any shields, but you do or you don't, doesn't matter, you're gonna win with Thunder Fang alone. Now, I do believe with, let's see, Mudshot. Let's see what Mudshot looks like. It didn't matter. It did not matter. Let's see, one shield scenarios. Oh wow, even with Mudshot, Steelix wins in a one shield situation. So what about a two shield? Interesting. Still wins. So there you have it. If someone has a Legacy Mudshot and they think they got the upper hand on a Steelix, they don't. So that's pretty fantastic stuff. So that's just an example of how the meta's changed a little bit with Steelix having Thunder Fang. Now, King did also mention Dragon Tail might be a safer bet, but with all PvP, I mean, it's random. You don't know what your opponent's gonna have on their moves or their Pokemon. You know what Pokemon they have, but you don't know the moves. So that's the interesting part. And you also don't know the 3 Pokemon they're gonna throw out at any given time. So while I do agree Dragon Tail is a nice, overall good performer, you can't ignore Thunder Fang against a water type matchup, especially Poliwrath. Let's see, going back here. So Alolan Raichu with Thundershock, this is fantastic, and it gets its Surf way faster. That's fine. But for Alolan Raichu in the Sinister meta, it's just too squishy, and it gets outperformed by other Pokemon that would just be a better choice. Now, Alolan Sandslash getting Ice Punch is fantastic. But as far as the Sinister Cup, there's fighting type Pokemon involved here, so this wouldn't work out too well. Good addition though. Good addition for an open league, Great League. This would be a good addition. Ultra League too, absolutely. That Steel typing is nice. Alolan Ninetales learning Charm is pretty nice. It's a powerful fast attack, like they say, but it's as an alternative to its more charge focus. So this is basically running Alolan Ninetales as a fast attack beast, similar to like that Bite Mawile that we were talking about earlier. Now Golduck, heaven's sakes, they just buff the crap out of Golduck in PvP for the Ultra League, I would say. Yeah, the Ultra League. Bubble Beam, where I know that debuffs your opponent's attacks at. Synchronoise is a pretty good psychic move, and then Cross Chop is a very fast charging charge move. So you've got water coverage. Now mention it has Ice Beam too. You got Psychic and Fighting. This is incredible. Golduck is, check it out. Play with it in the Ultra League. Fantastic Pokemon now. I'm pretty excited to be able to use a Golduck. I'm going to power one up. Alola Marowak with Fire Spin and Flame Wheel. So also another thing that King mentioned on Twitter, while you could run Fire Spin and win against certain Steel type matchups, Alola Marowak still shines with Hex. So just use Hex in the Sinister Cup if you're trying to max out your overall viability with Alola Marowak. And we already talked about Mantine with Bubble. That's pretty fantastic. Mawile actually has access to Fire Fang. Okay, so it's Ice Fang that wasn't put into there. Okay, and Pirate Punch, we already went over why that's a huge deal. And then Weavile gets Snarl. That's fantastic. Gives it more viability in the Master League if you max one out, but also the fact that it's, like they mentioned here, it's fragile but a powerful Dark type against basically the Master League and raid bosses and stuff. So let me know what you guys think about these move changes. I'm most excited for Psychic because it made a lot of Pokemon that weren't initially good Psychic attackers actually usable in raids. And also some of the rework for trainer battles as well. That's absolutely fantastic. So let me know again what you guys think in the comment section down below about all these moves and the changes. Smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Be a part of the Fitz City fam. That's the boy Fitz today. I'm signing off. See you guys in the next Pokemon Go video.